better. Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Taisha Vache. If you're new here, I also go by Ty. Today I'm going to be doing a tutorial and just kind of like talking about random stuff that's just kind of been going on. I will be like listing all the products down below that I'm going to be using today, and I'll also mention them if I remember throughout the video too. But yeah, I feel like just a lot of stuff going on right now, so let's talk about it, you know, and just get y'all's opinions on everything that's going on. So I saw this post on Instagram of this girl's makeup. This makeup artist posted it and I loved it, so I've been wanting to recreate this, and it's been in my phone forever. So here is the look. I just think it's so pretty. Fenty Beauty Pro Filter primer. Look at me, concealer, primer. I'm literally obsessed. So yeah, I wanted to just, like I said, try out this makeup look, and I also wanted to just like talk about current events that's going on right now. Like, what do y'all think about this whole Titanic, submarine, whatever? I don't even know. Like, like, I'm honestly still just kind of really confused as to why this even occurred, and like why would you want to do that? Like, I don't know. It just sounds like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, that would scare me. Like, it's so crazy how like different we all are. It just always amazes me like how different we all are. I mean, we're similar in a lot of ways, but still different in a lot of ways. Because like me, I couldn't do that. Like, that would literally terrify me. Like, I get paranoid. I feel like when I'm in elevators and they start making like too much noise, like I'm like, what's going on? And am I finna get stuck in here? And I be immediately like looking at my phone, like, do I have bars? Like, if something happened, can I call somebody like to get me out? Like, I don't know, it makes me nervous. So like, I don't know, but I mean, for right now, it's not really looking all that good, but I hope that the people they find them and that they're okay. Man, it's just brave to be able to do that, because I would be freaking out. Like, I'm not doing it. Get somebody else to do it. All right, I was using my Kiehls eye cream just so when we put on our concealer, it looks super good. I would start by color correcting my face, but I'm not gonna color correct today. I'm just gonna use my Too Faced multi-use sculpting concealer in the shade Sable, and I'm just gonna use that to cover up any like dark marks I have. I do not like getting bumps, because anytime I get a pimple, I'm gonna get a dark mark in its place, and I just would rather avoid having them, because the pimples like usually will go away, you know, like fairly quickly. Blemishes, not so much. Like going underneath my brow like that, and then I'll blend it out, just because the less brushes I gotta clean, the better. I do not be wanting to clean brushes. Like, I clean them, but it sends me. Like, it's probably like the worst thing about doing your makeup is like having to clean your brushes. But if you clean your brushes, like, you know, if you clean your brushes after you use them, before you just have to keep, you know, having a whole pile of them, it's actually the same brush that I used earlier to blend out that concealer, and I'm just gonna go blend that out at the top. as a base for all the eyeshadow we're gonna put on. And this is the e.l.f. concealer in medium beige. It's the 16-hour camo concealer, matte finish. And I'm gonna take the same brush again, and we're just gonna blend this all out all over our lid. What else is going on in the world? Somebody's podcast, I think it was like I think I saw 2 guys, but it could be more than that, I'm not sure. But it's like 2 guys and Dr. Umar. And I just feel like so much of what they were saying, so much of what he was saying was going over those guys' heads. It was ridiculous. Nice to see a conversation that was coming from a place of like, we need to find a solution. Because when I tell y'all, I am so sick and tired of seeing black men and women arguing over TikTok about whose fault it is and this, like, listen, okay, things are jacked up. We both know that. The men know that, the women know that. What's the solution? Like, why do we keep arguing and fighting? Like, I'm so sick of it. And it just seems so, number one, it's so divisive. And this is not to say that when I see these things or when I come across them that I don't agree, because I feel like some of the stuff I do agree with, like that, but I feel like 2 things can be true at one time. Like, when are we gonna take action? Like, I'm sick of everybody, what you bring to the table, this and third, like, y'all are too masculine, this, that, and the like, I'm sick of all that. Like, I'm sick of tables, I'm sick of femininity, I'm sick of, like, I'm just sick of it all. Like, can we just breathe and come up with a solution and stop pointing the finger? Like, just collectively, I'm so sick and tired of angle, kind of like this and here. So we're gonna push all of this product like right up in here, and then we're gonna kind of stop it in a like triangular type of fashion. Like, so I'm just gonna pack it like this. But yeah, I'm tired. Like, I'm just tired of us arguing, or tired of us arguing all over TikTok. It's just so annoying, and it's low-key embarrassing at this point. Like, let's do something else. Like, let's do something else. Please, for crying out loud. Do something else. Do something else. Okay. I normally work like one eye at a time, but I'm just gonna go ahead and do both of these just because it might be a little bit easier. Yeah, she had this shadow like all up here. It's like it's up and it's stuck. But yeah, that whole conversation, I feel like the things that Dr. Umar was saying were very solution based, but I feel like, again, a lot of that entire conversation was going over the individuals' heads, and they weren't understanding, they weren't picking up what he was putting down, basically. Like, it was just like whoosh, like, I'm like, it's not that. I'm like, but I feel like that's also part of the problem too, is that like a lot of times people are listening, they're not listening to understand, they're listening to respond. And that's how I felt about that entire interaction and conversation. Like, if you've listened, or I haven't watched the whole thing, but like basically every clip that I feel like I've seen on TikTok, that's basically what was going on. Like, everything he was saying is like they weren't grasping it. Like, he was like, oh, well, you know, you're thinking like from an individual like standpoint, and I'm talking about like collectively, like from a systemic like standpoint. And they just kept saying, well, I and my, and I'm just like, that's not what he's talking about. Like what, like how, why do we keep saying collective and y'all keep saying I? Like, now I'm going into that shade that's directly beside Pinker Big Wig in the same palette, and I'm just gonna blend that in too. But yeah, I want the best for us, like as a community, like, and as a whole, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like we have it in us to do that, because we've overcome so much, like just as, you know, just within our community, like within our, you know, over time, like we always overcome. So it's just like, this doesn't need to be something that's taking us out. I feel like we have literally, we and our, well, I'll say our ancestors in particular, like our ancestors have endured so much for us to just not even be able to like come together collectively and get to the root of an issue and like get to the root of the problem. Like, it literally makes no sense to me. Like, we have overcome so much more than this. Like, why is this so complicated? And I feel like it's only complicated because people don't want to listen. It's like you're just so stuck on your own perception of things that, like, people be so stuck on their own perception of things that they're not even like open-minded enough to even hear what somebody else has to say. They're just so stuck on them being right. And it's like, you are entitled to how you feel, but you could still be wrong, or you still could open your mind up to a completely different way of thinking. Does that make sense? Like, even if you don't want to 100% agree with it, like, sit down, shut up, listen, and like take in what somebody is saying, and then like process the information and kind of sit on it. Like, don't just automatically shut it down. Like, and I feel like that's what they were doing like the whole time. Like, y'all just shutting everything down. And I don't know, it was just, I was like, ooh wee, whew, I don't know. So now I'm about to cut my crease with this P. Louise base, and this one is Vivid Violet. I got on there just going in on people, and I'm just like, not to the extent that we do, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm gonna do, she has like a small wing, so I'm not gonna take this up too high, but I do want it to come a little bit above my crease because my eyes are hooded, so I need to bring it up a little bit higher above mine so that when I do my liner and all that, it's not getting, the liner isn't covering up all the lid work. So if your eyes are bigger, you probably don't have to do as much, or you don't probably have to cut your creases high, but my eyes are hooded, so that's why I'm bringing it up a little bit like higher. And then it's kind of like, it kind of stops like kind of like halfway, like kind of like that. Okay, we're gonna go and do the other side. Definitely a lot better though. Like, you can see how much smaller it is. This one's like very wide, but I feel like it's just a realistic representation that, like, even people who do makeup, or y'all feel like are decent at makeup, we mess up too. Outer corners of my eyes, and just kind of like blend those in. Since we just have this product right here, we're just gonna blend that out. Oh shoot. Kind of mix those two together. They're just like matte shades. I'm gonna mix these two together and try to get like a more muted pinkish red, pinkish purplish color on my lid. So I'm gonna go in with this Morphe M124 brush. I don't want it to look real pink though, so I'm probably gonna even though it's coming off very like pink, this is not what I really wanted. So I'm gonna just take another brush and just kind of like lightly dust that. I don't want it to look real pink. I want it to look more like how it looked when I put one layer off in that area. Yeah, that's making it look a little bit lighter, which is good. That's what we like. It's bringing it like more. Sorry y'all, I keep trying to look in my mirror like over here like behind me. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and start on the rest of our face. So I'm gonna go back in with my NARS concealer again. I'm gonna go just in the center of my forehead. Also gonna go right here. Chin. And then you can also go like down your nose if you want to. Mine always looks janky, so don't come for me. But she's like super like highlighted, so I want to make sure that we keep that there. And then let this sit for just a minute, and then we're going to go in and go ahead and contour. It looks very natural, so I'm going to go in with my black Radiance stick in the shade Espresso. Looks like this, and it looks very almost close to her skin tone. Like it's not too off. So I'm just gonna go in with this and see how like that's not much off from my skin tone, but it does add a little something. Like you definitely can see the warmth in it a little bit, but not too crazy. So that's why I really like this particular shade, because it's practically like my skin tone, but you definitely can see the difference. Down our cheeks, you can go up in this way too, down the cheeks. And then when you get to your cheeks, you actually can brush upwards, because it'll make your face look a lot more like lifted. And then we'll go over here and do the same thing. I said this earlier, but I want to touch on it again. Clean y'all's brushes, please. Like, ugh, there's like, if you want your skin to break out, then then go ahead, you know what I'm saying? But if you don't, clean your brushes. One application, that's it. Don't reuse it. Like when I get done using these brushes, they're going in a whole separate little container. I'm not using them until they're washed. And if I do my makeup tomorrow, clean brushes. All right, I'm gonna go in with my Morphe setting spray, and I'm just gonna spray my face before I blend out my concealer. Oh, and I really don't like to get too much into like celebrity stuff, but if y'all follow this, and I only know about this honestly because of TikTok too, but like, what are y'all's thoughts on this whole like Ari situation? I don't know. I wouldn't have gave her number out personally. I just feel like, I don't know, I just wouldn't. I wouldn't have done that. Like I wouldn't have blasted her phone number, just because I feel like the only reason that it's being done is because it's being done like it's being done because it's like out of anger. And like, I just feel like, me personally, like I don't want to be doing anything that like I would be doing because I'm being pulled out of my character. Does that make sense? Like, that's why I wouldn't want to do it. But I feel like, you know, each person's gonna handle any situation the way in which they want to handle it. But I just feel like, me personally, like I wouldn't want to, because I know that like if I was in my right mind, if nothing was wrong with me, if I was fine, like if everything was going the way that I wanted it to go, I wouldn't be behaving like that. So I would just want to make sure that like that's a state of mind that I'm keeping myself in. Like I wouldn't do certain things if certain circumstances like didn't arise to make me want to do that. Does that make sense? I feel like that would just be outside of my character, because it's like I'm basically behaving like that because I'm mad about X, Y, or Z, but I don't want to be mad about nothing. Like I want to be calm and in control of my emotions, like regardless of what's going on around me. So I know that if I wasn't upset or mad, there wouldn't be an action that I would take. So I just wouldn't take it personally. But to each his own, you know, people don't play about their kids. Like people don't take their kids lightly, like, and I definitely don't either. So that's why I just feel like, you know, you got to let people are going to react how they react when it comes to their kids. Like, especially if you're been in a situation where maybe there has been, you know, some issues there in the past. Like, that's just gonna be, you know, and it might just be your reaction, like you know that you're upset. But I just feel like, you know, you can't let people constantly like get you upset all the time, because people have control over you, and I don't want people to have control over me. Like, I want to have control over me. Like, I want to be in control of myself at all times. So that's how I feel about it. But I don't know, like, it might come a time where I am like that. So I don't like to feel like I'm trying to be holier than thou or nothing like that. You get what I'm saying? Because it's like, I also haven't been put in those situations, and I feel like a lot of times people speak on things like prematurely. I would just hope that if that ever happened, like, I would still be somewhat logical and like get the results that I want, if that makes sense. Let me use myself for example. I have a child. Now I'm a single mother. Me and my daughter's father were together, you know, for 4 years. But now I'm a single mother. But whenever I had my child, because I had a child, you know, and we were not married, like, there's so many things that are gonna come along with that. And I used to complain about stuff all the time, but I'm like, why am I even complaining about it? Because, like, these are just the consequences of my actions. And it's like, when you take any type of when you make any sort of choice in your life, you have to accept every single consequence that comes along with that choice, regardless of whether you're even thinking about it right now in this moment or not. Like, it doesn't matter. But everything that comes along with that choice that you made, even if it's a choice you're not thinking about, but it's a I mean, not choice, but consequence. Like, even if it's a consequence that you have to deal with even 20 years down the line, like, if you made that choice, like, you got to take everything that comes with it. Like, you can't pick and choose what consequences you want to deal with in that or not. Like, and I think that's what people don't understand. But it's like, we make these choices, and then certain times the consequences just kind of like, they come along with it, and it's like, you be upset and you be mad, but it's just like, that's just what comes along with it. Like, you just need to, you know, be in control of your emotions, and hopefully, like, you and the other person can come to some sort of mutual agreement, or just something or the other. You know what I mean? How I try to approach things like now. It may not be that logical for some people, because I feel like we be in our emotions about stuff, but that's just how I feel. Everything you do has consequences, and you just got to be prepared. Like, even that you might have thought about some of the consequences, but you might come across consequences that you weren't even thinking about, but you still got to accept it, because it's just like, this is just where we at. Like, it ain't nothing we can do about it now. The choice has already been made, and a lot of times the choice can't be reversed. So I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. But y'all let me know how y'all feel about that. Okay. This peach one up here, if I can find the name of it, it's this peach one up here. If I can find the name of it, I will put all of this down below, like, for sure. I just and ice them cheeks up, baby. I'm gonna go right here, just on this part of my nose. You guys see that? Just to kind of like, just kind of snatch it a little bit, not too much. She also was baking her like pretty aggressively, so down the side of her nose. So I'm going to go over here and just put more powder. Down the side of my nose. I'm gonna let that sit for a second. Okay. And while we do that, oh shoot. And while I do that, I'm gonna go in to the rest. I'm gonna use this NARS foundation to go along my jawline where there is no foundation. I love foundation, don't get me wrong, but I just have been in a mood where it's just kind of like the less the better. So I'm just gonna go down here on my like jawline area. You know, just kind of where I have all of this. I feel like my face looks so pretty. I mean, I hope it looks good on the camera because I can only see like a little bitty snippet like over here in the corner of myself because I use my back camera to film on my phone. So I'm hoping it's coming out good. And she has on this brown color around her lips that looks very almost like kind of flush tone. See how like it looks like my skin tone. I don't really like that. Okay, and that's pretty dark. And then I'm going to go over it now with the lighter one and see if that kind of like helps. A little bit. I'm just gonna keep playing around with it till it kind of comes out like I want it to. The Maybelline lip gloss in Silk. So I'm gonna put this clear gloss just on top, just because I feel like I want my lips to look like a Krispy Kreme donut. And I just feel like if it's not Krispy Kreme and they ain't gleaming, did you even do it right? Now I'm going in with that darker purple on the outer corner a little bit. That looks. I'm gonna go with my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in Dark Deepest. I'm gonna marry everything together, everything. All right, so this is the final look. If you stayed for the whole length of this video, I know it was super long, so I'm sorry, but for watching, and thank you to all my new subscribers too. I'm so excited. Thank you guys too for the more, like my last video, well, not my last video, but my Sephora sale video has the most views I've gotten so far, so I was super excited about that. And then my last video has more views than all of them before the Sephora one, so I'm just like, I'm so excited. I know the numbers don't really like matter, you know what I'm saying, but it's just like I'm just happy to see growth, especially since I'm trying to like definitely, you know, put my foot out there and like actually trying to take this a lot more seriously. So I'm just happy to even be able to see the growth that I've saw so far. So yes, send this video to somebody you think will like it, somebody who would like to, you know, perfect their makeup too. Send them on over to the community and like let's, you know, let's have fun. Yeah, but I will see y'all next time. Bye.